Hello, my name is Jean, and I am the blogger for Literarily My Way. Literarily My Way is a blog that focuses on books, uses books to engage, teach, uh, learn, and connect. And so today my focus is on Maira Kalman. And Maira Kalman is new to me. What kind of grasped me, had me look at her and read her books was that I found out that it was an exhibit at the High Museum of Art in Atlanta. And that exhibit is 2 stories in the building of galleries. And then within, I heard 15 to 20, at least 15 to 20 rooms of her art and her that features her books. These are some of her books. And so I'm looking forward to leaving here and headed to the museum so that I can get to know her even better. Her books are very unusual sometimes. My favorite is more on the traditional side, if you will, and it's a book called Fire Book. And Fire Book is basically about one of the boats, a fireboat. And the fireboat, and you can see how she writes, is very free. And sometimes you'll find just the normal writing, but she writes very free. You can see the colors. She loves colors, as you can see. Fireboat is a boat that they put into retirement. The boat's name is John J. Harvey. And so John J. Harvey was no longer being called on because it was antique, if you will, vintage. And so they were stopped being called, and the newer, more modern boats were called to put out fires. And what happens is that during 9/11, they had trouble. They couldn't get the water. The newer boats couldn't handle it, and they had to call John J. Harvey, out of retirement. Up to that time, it was being used as more of an entertainment boat, a recreational boat, but they had to call him out, call it out. And so John J. Harvey basically made a big stay. It was the hero and his crew, the hero, one of the heroes of 9/11, not the hero, one of the heroes. Great book. Hope you read it. And again, it's Fireboat. Okay. When you look at Myra, I said she's an artist, she's an illustrator, she's a writer. One of the cover albums was she has some albums that she's designed, but the biggest thing I'm familiar with is I've seen her work on the cover of New Yorker magazine. Just didn't know who it was. Again, there are many of them. You can just, if you Google her name, you'll find it. Different editions. If you have New York and you go back and see, you'll also find out that she's how much of an impact she's had on the New Yorker. She's very observant, spends lots of time watching people, watching things. Inquisitive in nature, diarist in nature, and there's always movement of her mind. And her logic is sometimes what people call peculiar. It's not it's probably why ADD and ADHD kids and reluctant readers like her books. Once you get them to look at it, even if they don't read it at first and you just share it with them and share the pictures, a lot of times they get very motivated and inspired to want to know more because her book is not like the regular books they have to read. As their minds are moving, and they don't like what some kids will say, "Oh, reading is boring." Well, her books are not. Okay. Some of the characteristics, I said that she's diarist. That's mostly in her adult book. A lot of movement. Movement could be in her, in the words themselves, in the font, in the pictures. She's very lyrical, especially when she's talking about Max. Max is a dog that's a poet, if you will, and a lot of people say that it's her alter ego, but very lyrical when it comes to Max. Pete is actually her own dog, her family dog, and so Pete, you'll see a lot of children, and you'll see how. But you can see what I mean when I said the freedom, and also how her books are not typical when you look at the logic of the book. Aha to Zigzag, 31 objects found in the Smithsonian Design Museum. Very simple, but again, simple, but a lot of complexity as well. Great vocabulary. She introduces a lot of great vocabulary that can help prepare kids. Great for word walls. Great for culturally. You have Hey Willie, See the Pyramids. There's Swami on Rye. And you can see how she writes. You can see the extent of some of her pictures and what she does. She's again a very interesting, eclectic type of artist. As I said, that was one from India. The Pyramids is here. This one is Hollywood Baby. And again, you can see how she's creative with the font. And most of her books are people that she actually knows, that she has met. And she manages to incorporate. Not everyone is in there, but there's a group that she, as she writes and gets to know them, they become characters for her. Looking at Lincoln, more on the serious type, another one of my favorites. Thomas Jefferson is another one. Next up, Grand Central is one that I am looking forward to going back to New York and going to Grand Central Station. It showed a different view. Okay, and as I said before, inquisitive, she's free, she's digressive, great for the ADD and ADHD kids. A lot of unexpectedness in her books. You don't always know where she's going until you get there, and it brings a lot of humor. It's not one that is a standard, typical book. None of those books are. Even the ones that are more serious, like Fireboat, still brings that unexpectedness, still brings that lyrical, brings whimsy, but it also brings a seriousness. She always has that little duality, kind of between the reality and the humorous. And again, I'm looking forward to my visit to the High Museum and to her gallery, and hope to be able to share some of the pictures I take. I'm pretty sure, at least I've heard, that I'll have to get permission from her publishers, I think it's Putnam, her publisher and her, to share some of the pictures. But I can at least share like the programs and things like that and share what I saw. And again, I'm looking forward to it. And I hope that you have a chance to read in some of her books, to become acquainted with how she uses words, how she uses movement, how she uses color. Thank you for stopping by. And again, it's Literarily My Way, Literarily, myway.com. And there's also a Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So again, thank you and Twitter. We're also on Twitter. So stop by again, Literarily My Way, and thank you for stopping by. And I'll see you soon in a post or through social media. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and enjoy Maira Kalman.